Qlik Dork back again. Today I'm coming at you from my Qlik Dork Data Cathedral Studios here in sunny and beautiful Gainesville, Georgia for Dork Cast episode 21. Folks, today we are starting an automation revolution. That's right, we're going to have a revolution here led by Christian Eckler. Last time Christian was on my show, he was a senior software engineer, but I've now completely changed his title because I think his role in the world is really changing. Christian, I'm so thankful to have you on board. If you want to reach out to Christian, I know you're multitasking while you're watching this. Please reach out to him on his LinkedIn profile that you can see there, or reach out to him in email. Christian, it is great to have you on board again, my friend.
Thank you. How are you today, Dalton? It's so great for me to be here.
I am doing great, man. I am so thankful that you were able to take time again, because something you showed me this week just absolutely floored me. When I shared it with my boss, he was absolutely floored. He says, you better get him on another Dork Cast right now. And so, folks, what we're going to be talking about today, as I've said, I'm calling it an automation revolution, because what Christian from ancoreSoft is going to show us is how open our application automation platform really is and how you can magnify it with what they're doing. So what Christian and ancoreSoft offer are a couple of products that you'll be able to watch at the end of this. I'm going to have a link to episode 15 when Christian and Sia joined me from ancoreSoft to share not only their reporting tool that we're going to see today, in the extension, what they've added to it now for our Qlik Application Automation, but also scripting and mapping as well. So be sure to stay tuned at the end of this and just go ahead and click the link that I'm going to share right in the YouTube video to get you to watch that, so you'll be able to see the whole thing. But Christian, I know people watching today may not have seen that. Would you be able to share your screen and just let's start with an existing report to give people the idea of what an ancoreSoft report would look like?
Of course, Dalton. Thank you. And I'm so happy to be able to show you today. And let me repeat, as you asked me, to show you only the functionality of the ancoreShare extension, which creates a PDF right out of the box, just prepared here with a little button here on my screen. I click on that. It creates out of the box as an in-app application. So it does not need any external service for that. Creates a PDF based on the elements I have placed in my report. And boom, there it is, a beautiful PDF showing, in that case, one of my sheets. And
so a developer at some point added this extension to the screen and then did some coding. Is that right?
I don't like the word coding, but yes, he added.
Okay, so they've added it to the screen, did some magic, and that report can show. Now that probably took you days, weeks, months to get that work in. We've only got like 60 seconds. I want to see how you would redo that from scratch, so those who haven't watched episode 15 yet but will can see that really is going to be worth their time.
Absolutely. Let me show you how it works. So you go in your edit mode, drag over your ancoreShare button on the screen, resize it on the size you like to have it, and add your first element. I'm grabbing a Qlik table. In that case, I grab the Qlik pivot table here, place it on my Qlik pivot table, and I place it directly in my report. There it is. And if I like to, I may open here a live draft, but I don't need it for a moment. I know it is already in my application, in my report. I add a new element, and that will be a text element. And this text element goes here, and give it a line sales report by regions.
Seems like the things people do for reporting.
Yeah. And you know what? I want to have this title on my header, so it will be repeated on each and every page. And that's it. So I have my text, I have my pivot table. Let's see what develops when I'm going to click on my execute draft. It grabs the pivot table with my current selection, so it knows exactly what I have selected. and I have my report here with a perfectly look and feel means you can zoom in. It is not an image. It's an SVG that is always crispy clear, and it has multiple pages with repeated columns, with my header in front, with my page numbering and all this. So this is how we
that is
develop
fantastic.
reports.
And what you'll see if you watch episode 15, which stay tuned at the end of this one and watch, is that not only can it include Qlik objects, it can include third-party visualizations as well. And there's a whole lot of things. He showed you how you can just drag or drop the position of objects. You can put objects side by side, and all that will be in the other video. But now we've got this report that we just created in 60 seconds. Dude, I may need that report elsewhere in my organization. I don't just want to see it on demand. Gosh, I love Qlik Application Automation. I could probably, as the Qlik dork, if I put my bow tie on, code something in an automation to get that report, like shared somewhere else in my organization. And the revolution you're starting today, like, this is incredible to me, is that you're making that easy enough. You don't even have to be the Qlik dork to get your reports distributed elsewhere in the organization automatically for users. How in the world do you do that, man? That seems kind of impossible.
I love to make things simple for my end users. And to do that, we need to reduce the work. Every single step you may do may fail. So reduce the steps, less failures, less errors, and more success. That is what we think.
You've been a long time coder, my friend.
So what we did is we have created our report. We have set it up a destination, a format. So in that case, we go for Adobe. Let's switch over from Adobe to maybe to PowerPoint. Also possible. So we have set up the format. And the third step is, where do you want to place it? Right now, we had it downloaded, but we don't want to go for download. We want to share it with
That's
others.
old news.
Yeah.
That was last
old
week.
News.
That was episode 15, Christian.
Yeah. So we have a couple of possibilities here. And one of the greatest is we bring Qlik Automations and ancoreShare so together, they work seamless. And that is, we activate export to Qlik Automations, and you see it's asking for an automation ID and an execution token.
Now, how in the world would I get that, Christian? That they might not be the Qlik dork. How would they get the automation ID and the token? Because the token
so great.
gives them the permission.
It's so great and simple. When you create a new Qlik automation, it always creates the first block, which is the start block. And the start block, when it is enabled on triggered or manual, it provides you the token here, and it provides also in the header here the ID. So I just copy and paste my automation ID. I just copy and paste.
Almost like
the
folks building the automation stuff made it to be open and used by other things. That's crazy.
And the second step is, now ancoreShare will export automatically to this particular Qlik automation with that ID and with this token.
Without me having to drag or drop the blocks that are needed. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that means because we need to add blocks here and the flows, or, as you mentioned it, we can go copy the blocks. Go to our Qlik automation, right mouse click, paste block, and there it is. And look the beauty, you drag and pin it up here to the start, and it will automatically be a completely flow with everything. And look at the titles.
Yep. Now hang on a second. Hang on a second before you get into that. So if you watched my series on automations before, my very first video for automations was about different personas and how there would be people who could drag or drop blocks. But then there's values that needed to be put into some of those at times. And so I shared the different personas all the way from somebody just dragging or dropping to those who, man, I need to do a loop and I'm not really comfortable with coding. I don't know how to do a loop. Or how to do custom code like Node.js script. And what you've done is even more than what the templates are, because I've showed templates that we have. With the templates, it sets the blocks up, but you still have to go in and put the information in. Not only, this isn't just a template, folks. He's not only created the JSON blocks, he's put the values into those things. So like here, it's got the code in there. So while you could drag or drop those, he's done the work of putting the right values into everything, including the convert to base 64 image. I don't even know what that is.
Creating the report, exporting the report, which may consist not one export file, but multiple files. Maybe you have Excel files, maybe you have a PowerPoint, you have a PDF. All the files that's been created will be sent directly to your Qlik automation.
Okay.
And here inside the Qlik and the report parameters, there is for each report is a link. And what it does, it loops for these links. So loop for each report file. And for each report file, it goes to open each of these report file, getting the file name of each report file. And now it says, okay, what you're gonna do with it. I tell, you know what? I'm going to create a SharePoint file out of it. So I'm going to transport it to my SharePoint.
Okay.
So copy file, drag over, and it asks, can you give me the source file where I grab the file that I need to copy to SharePoint, the source file, and there it is. It's already prepared for you. Just click here. It's the report file item.
That's why you converted it to a base 64 image.
And the next one is the destination. Where do you want to put it? Drive ID, do a lookup, and in that case, I'm going for my marketing folder, and it asks me for a destination path. I might type some in, like my demo the destination. I'm going to show you, here's my ancoreSoft SharePoint, and this is my marketing demo, and it is an empty one. Okay. Go back to my automation, and it asks, do you want to set the file name? Yeah, because we have the file name here in this block. We created the file name. So click on that guy, output from file name, and click on file name. Boom. That's the whole work. Now my completely automation to create a report, give it automation, give it a save, please. And we repeat, remove the download because we don't need download anymore. I click on my execute, and what it does is now it creates the same pivot table, but instead of putting it in a PDF, it converted automatically to a PowerPoint, first step. And after the PowerPoint conversion, it sent it to the Qlik automation, and the Qlik automation is stored then on our SharePoint. And that is shown here in the upper right with, hey, it is automatically executed. If I want to check, did it really work? Click on this guy, go to history, and you see, oh yeah, it does the job in 2 seconds. It's already done. I'm happy. Let me see my ancoreShare SharePoint here.
Do a refresh.
And here's my report. Boom, done in seconds. And it is a wonderful PowerPoint report. And it is not only an image of it. You see, all of it is real text, can be manipulated, has a real pivoting. So it means when you have a second page, all the pivoting is kept together. And we could run it right away. That is the beauty of Qlik automation.
Believe it or not,
absolutely burner.
Believe it or not, Christian, there's an awful lot of folks in the world that still like working with pivot tables. And they actually need that kind of functionality.
I heard something like that.
It's not just a visual. Now let's go back to the Qlik Sense app for a second.
Yep, there we go.
And so I want to make sure that everybody gets this, because this is really powerful. When you create this button, that button is specifically tied to this one report that you then pass as an input parameter to Qlik Application Automation. So now this one automation that you have is configured, and you say, hey, when I press this button, I want to send it to SharePoint. Now, what if I want to have another button to do something different, like I want to do sales port by regions to SharePoint. Nope, I want to do sales port by regions to Microsoft Teams or to email. What would I do if I want to create something like that then?
So to change the destination you're asking for, so
Yep.
there is no limit. Anyone who knows how powerful Qlik automation is knows there is no limit. All you need to do is change just the connectors. We have dozens of connectors. That can be your OneDrive, your Outlook, your SharePoint, your Teams, your Qlik Cloud Storage. We have
Okay.
prepared also sample for that. Let me show you here. And oops, sorry, not duplicate. So we can go for Google Cloud, for SharePoint, for Outlook, for Teams. Everything can be done with that. And
So,
the only
so
thing
the
you need to do is,
designer, so,
yeah,
so the report designer, the report developer, whatever role title we want to give these people, right? They don't really have to know Qlik even. They
no,
just need to know how to build reports in a graphical way. You hand them the automation script to add in, and what you've done is got different automations created for each type of report, where I'm going to take the table to a PDF to Google Cloud or SharePoint or Outlook or Teams or SharePoint, and oh, you know what? I've got a different report that I want to take to this or to that or the other thing. And you know what, Christian? I'm willing to bet there's organizations out there that have like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, man. How we could make those buttons really, really small and put thousands on a screen with our fine controls. But man, we've had this cool automation feature for like 5 minutes now. I'm going to get greedy. I need an easier way for end users, because this is certainly easy for report designers to prepare this. What's another way that end users could consume any one of my hundreds of variations
of buttons you have created on each button a report, and you had a page like this, and
Yep.
it is overwhelming for the end user. You're absolutely right. That would be an easier way if you have just one single button, and this single button collects them all together and give the end user the possibility by click on it and then selecting one of those reports, and it will be automatically there on your command. Like, make me my PDF table to PDF Outlook,
Okay.
and I can change the output here
And
right
you
now.
could, so even though the report designer shows PDF, the end user can say, whoa, 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 I need that in PowerPoint instead.
Excellent.
That's crazy, because all that was a parameter in your extension. You're changing it on the fly. And now that would call the correct automation, pass it the right report, and tell it to do the right thing in those input parameters. Correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. That's the way to go. So that is the page the users see.
That is the way to go. Exactly. That is the way to go.
Why did we start? Simplify the process, eliminate the single steps. That's exactly what we do.
That is so cool. Now, I got to tell you, we've now had this automation revolution with your reporting for like 10 minutes. I'm going to get greedy. I'm going to tell you that there's organizations, this is crazy, they're kind of whiny little brats. They're like, but I don't want to have my users have to hand pick reports in the app. I just want to burst it out to them, because they're just frankly too lazy to go pick the right button in the right app to get the right report at the right time. I just want to burst it to them. There's got to be something, dude. A guy like you starting this automation revolution has got to have a way that you can do that for my customers.
So such a great thing with Qlik automation. I can click, or you can click, but it is also possible that you can command us to click for you. And that is the second step. The first step was we created an automation, and this automation creates it. And the second step is, let's create another automation that gets scheduled or triggered, and that is executing that guy. So go back, edit sheet, and we have created for you a guide that is called they create a link for external execution. That is creating a link, and this link, when it gets executed, when it gets clicked, it will automatically create a task and execute that report for you. So you don't need to click on that. I'm going to create that
we're
link.
going to click here because we're still the report developer now. We've got the report
Absolutely.
developer hat on. We're
Thank
trying to prepare this.
What it asks you is, in what user context should it be executed?
Okay.
So you can define a user who should execute it. I give it my credentials. So with my login, my password, the report shall be executed. I can overrule also the export type again, give it a different type. Let's go back with Adobe. I can even define optional a bookmark that should be selected in forefront. And finally, that we will see later on, we can have a webhook that is getting called from the system when the report is done, because the report may send it to your SharePoint, to your Teams, and whatever. So you don't see the output here directly, but
So
you would like to get informed, and that can be done with a webhook.
Yep. And so if you're a developer, look down at the bottom of that screen. What you're basically doing is you have an API that you're building an automation block to call so that could be scheduled. Not only are you going to let the report run, you're saying who it should run as, so that if there were section access that needed to be invoked, it would be invoked because it's going to run as that user.
Excellent.
Not only that, you could say only do it for this year or for last year or for whatever periods, whatever bookmark things they have set. And now you've given us this copy, this magic, we're going to build it for you button.
I like it. Click, and you have your automation block, copy to the clipboard, go to your automation that is on schedule, right mouse click, and you know what happens. Boom, there is my report. I pin it on my start bar, and it will automatically maybe scheduled in a 2 minutes, 50 minutes every day, or on Monday at 9 o'clock, or even with a thing I like the most, with a trigger, like when, sorry, not trigger, webhook, when my Qlik application gets updated or reloaded, the data gets reloaded, then please call my report, and it will automatically be executed.
Stop. Yeah? So I could choose schedule, but you've even gone a step beyond that, because you will let this be called in any way. So yes, I could choose schedule, but you've chosen a webhook to say when the app is reloaded, then go fire the reports, rather than scheduling them in case the app didn't reload for 5 extra minutes or something. Crazy cool.
I'm going to show it you in manual way. So only the thing that needs, we pinned our block here, and what the block does is it calls the API. It tells you the export type. We choose in PDF. That's right. We didn't choose any bookmark. We leave it empty. We have not set up a webhook. Not important. We have another couple of information. That's it. We save and run. And what it does, it creates a task that says, please execute this report for me, because I don't like to click on that button.
Yeah.
And
Bob
it
doesn't
says,
like to click. Hugo doesn't like to click. Yeah.
No one does. And it automatically does the job for you in the background. And that's it.
Man.
And you don't have to do anything else. It will create the task, and when the task is done, it automatically execute all the setups we have done with automation, like put it to SharePoint or send it via Teams or whatever. Create thousands of things you can do with the Qlik automation. That is so genius. And finally, when it is done, you go back to your system, and there a few seconds ago it has created. And now, since we set it up as PDF, we have the same report, glossy PDF. And I didn't click on the button. It was here, Qlik automation,
That is crazy cool. Now, folks, let me explain why I think this is a revolution. Clearly, and I do not mean to detract from all of you who need reporting solutions. Go watch Dork Cast 15 and see how cool the reporting is, because there's a lot more to it. And I don't want to detract from that, but here's the message that I really want to get close and help you understand in as serious as a way as the Qlik Dork I can possibly do this. ancoreSoft has a client managed server solution that you go in, you do the scheduling, you build the distribution methods, the types, blah, 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 the things that you know you need, right? When they started moving their platform to SaaS, the need came up. Well, do you provide a SaaS-based report bursting solution for our customers and our joint customers? And the answer is yes. You provided it for us with app automation.
Absolutely.
So instead of going out and building all of the functionality all over again, they provided this because, like he showed, maybe I want to test it as a developer and I test it manually by changing start to manual. Maybe I want that to be scheduled for every day at 12 a.m. to be sitting on the CEO's desk by 12:01 a.m. Maybe I set it up to be called from any other thing out there, whether it's a webhook because data got loaded. So in my scenario, like a video I did recently with Stitch was showed, hey, at the end of Stitch moving data out of a system somewhere that's a cloud-based source, it calls a webhook into the automation to go do a reload. And he gave you the code that you just paste in to say, now go run the report. You could do multiple reports in series here, right?
Of course, there's no limitation. The only thing you need to do is you click on the report you want to export, you click on the link creator, give your credentials and the setup, copy the block.
And so in this case, I could have Dalton as the user for one report, and I could have Hugo as the user for the second report.
Yep.
And you've made this super easy. Now you call it the ancoreShare report execution. It's really our basic URL block to call a REST API. That's really what it is. But
we just renamed it. I hope it's okay for you.
You did. I love it. I mean, that's genius because it looks so much easier from a maintenance standpoint.
Absolutely.
Right.
So the people know exactly what they're doing. Yeah?
For me as a developer, like as Qlik Dork, I could come in and use that URL block. Sally Sue out there wouldn't know how to configure a URL block, would not know how to configure all of the various parameters that you're passing in there.
Usable by the everyday Joe. Yep.
And so folks, here's what I see as a revolution. Not only are they making report execution so much easier, they're showing you a way to do business in the cloud, right? Qlik Sense has always been an open API. There is no box holding what you can do. There also is no box, as he's showing you now, to what you can do with app automation, because it is just JSON blocks. And there are different personas out there of things that they could do. You may have a Qlik Dork on board who could build you the URL to do the stuff behind the scenes, but you no longer have to. And so instead of thinking, how does my company provide a server and all the resources to do the scheduling or the webhooking or the button pressing for manual and keeping track of history and blah, blah, blah.
And combine different systems together, which is always
right. That's what app automation does. And what Christian, I think, has done is really, honestly, he's opened my eyes. Like, I'm talking about this like this is old news. This is stuff he just showed me this week. I was like, holy cow. Really is a revolution. So you mentioned the webhook there. What would using a webhook here now do?
Well, as you have seen before, when the scheduled report gets executed, it is done in 1 second. So this second is not a complete report. Why it is so fast? Because it's asynchronous. So it just gives the task, hey, come on, guys, this is a report I need to do. Please do so. So we click for you, not you to have to click. And it returns with an ID. It tells you, okay, we have put the task in a queue with that ID. And then it maybe gets stored in my Teams or in Outlook or whatever you have configured in your report. But the guy who asked for it does not know when it is done with the job. And with this webhook, we can get rid of this. We have a third automation, which is our ancoreShare report done webhook. It's just a simple automation that sends an email to a particular guy. Oops, it's me. And it shows the report results. But how can it do it? Very simple. With these here, you just copy the URL to that Qlik automation. Go back to my scheduled one. It's not longer my scheduled one. We go back for manual. And here we have the webhook. And we place the value there. If you have already prepared the webhook before, so you can set it up here, it will be in your block automatically inside. You don't have to do that manually. So you need to have the webhook, copy the Qlik automation, go there, paste it, and it will work right out of it. That is the way to go. So what we have set up is the report that will be executed. And when it is done, so really done, not after 1 second, but when all the actions are be done, send it to all the external sources. It will come back and call this webhook. Let's see what happens. I'm going to run that. So again, it will run in 1 second or less than 1 second because it's really fast. And then it starts to do the job. If it is 1 job, 2 jobs, hundreds of jobs, sending to 1 or to hundreds, it doesn't matter. And as soon as it's done.
Because we showed it again. We showed it where it was, hey, if this is a single report to a PDF, it could have been different reports showing a day sales outstanding report, a billing documents report, fulfillment report. There could have been several, right?
And that might not visible to the guy who has triggered the report. So in our case, it is there because we have set it up. So we have our report a few seconds ago, But since we did set up also this guy here to send an email and tell me the report results, I will have an email here. And the email says, hey, just 1 minute. No, in this minute, it's done. The report has been executed and it is finished successfully.
Now, again, let me try to simplify this for folks, because there's folks who are going to be saying, man, that's really complicated, Christian. That seems kind of complicated. Here's the thing. When you're testing or developing something, you're running one, and you might use one of our wait timers. You say, go run the report. I know it's asynchronous. I'll wait 15 seconds. Wow. ancoreShare worked in 15 seconds. That's fantastic. I guess I'm good to go. I can wait 15 seconds. Then you start scaling out as you grow these things. And man, suddenly that 15 seconds might be 16 seconds. And then suddenly the 16 seconds, as you're distributing reports to hundreds with a lot of different reports, could be a minute and a half. Right? And that 15-second wait timer no longer works. Right? Or it could just be a matter of, we assume the reports are going to go. And so we have our flows to generate the reports. I've got this because I could capture that success or failure, right? Because you're giving me the status. I could have a conditional block that says, if it's successful, do nothing, log it somewhere, go store a log in a data warehouse somewhere, right? Or send me an email if it failed, so that I know I do need to go take action.
Absolutely correct.
Fantastic stuff, man. I'm gonna have, if you could stop sharing your screen one minute for me, Christian.
There you go.
I'm gonna share my screen again, buddy. And again, for those of you who may have missed episode 15, or like super curious now seeing this, please go visit our friends at ancoreSoft.com. It's super easy to get to that website. You'll be able to see all of this stuff. Again, you've got the contact information for Christian, but I'll bring it back here again if you want to do a screenshot now. So you can reach him like, hey, I wasn't really curious before, but now, holy cow, this guy is a revolution starter. Go follow him. And just hang on the line here. When I finish talking to Christian, I'm going to have a link that you can just press to go right to Dork Cast episode 15 and see all of the reporting. If you think the reporting is cool, wait till you see the mapping. If you think the mapping is cool, wait until you see the scripting that they have. That's literally an extension that lets you get access to anything you want right there inside your Qlik Sense app. All right, buddy. This was, I've been so excited, chomping at the bit for this one. I can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
Last time, I think together we opened everyone else's eyes. This time you really opened my eyes. I have and I've done like 10 videos on automations. I've written a lot about our automations. I've encouraged people in the past about our automations. You've made me even see our automations differently and what the possibility.
Oh, really?
By a mile. Like I knew that like we could save automations to JSON code. I had no idea that you could even just copy and paste blocks that you could write anyway.
It is absolutely amazing and so powerful. Absolutely amazing. Yeah.
So just enterprise grade, top-notch reporting to begin with. And thank you for that, because our customers need that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
But going this extra mile to help our customers see and help prospects see and help other partners see how powerful things could be, and that you could use an automation as your SaaS server.
Absolutely. This is definitely what we are going to do. Use it as a SaaS server. Yeah.
Yep. You can call it from anything, anywhere, and you can have it call other things, and then you can cascade and chain any way you want. Just fantastic. And just so you know, you've given me the idea, because I've been playing with generative AI, as you know. Like, I generated my data cathedral. This isn't a real cathedral here in Qlik Dork Studios. I don't have that kind of resources. I am working right now on trying to train a generative model to generate the JSON blocks for automation, just to show. And so that thought was entirely inspired absolutely by what you showed me earlier this week, man. So I can't thank you enough. When I write my blog about that, I will absolutely tag this video to help other people come and see, because I want you to get the credit for that, man. This is, hopefully this is, seriously, from my heart, hopefully this is a revolution to open people's eyes to what Qlik Application Automation can do. That it's not standalone. You don't just use it to go reload apps. There's a world out there of orchestration, because Qlik fits into a large enterprise ecosystem. There are always other places reports need to be other than right in front of the user. And I think you certainly enabled that and showed people an easy way to try to help those maybe get into automations and make their life easy, because you just paste it all in there. You renamed the blocks so that it was easy to understand and maintainable if you come back to that.
So important. Rename the blocks so you get rid of the complexity to understand what you're doing And
Yep.
that is absolutely
And
possible.
I notice you use the comments. I love the comments in the blocks too. That dude, you are a real coder. Like I can tell you are a real coder. So what's you got new stuff in your head, or like you tapped out? You just gonna have to retire now because you're tapped out. This is the best thing you've ever thought of.
No. There are tons of ideas and tons, in development and tons on the roadmap, and they're upcoming. And let's see how many of those in the roadmap until of June 2024, the latest, the next appointment we have at latest. So in
Nice.
Orlando.
At the latest, dude.
At the latest.
Don't go to some other Dork Cast podcast thing. You got new stuff. You're showing the Qlik Dork first, buddy.
Of course, sir.
I appreciate you, my friends, and all of you out there watching.
Same.
Please do stay on to watch Dorkcast episode 15, or at least save that link and go enjoy your lunch or whatever it is you're going to do. And I sure hope that you've learned something, you've been inspired, you've seen maybe the reporting aspect, or it has opened your eyes to automations. Hope that you have a great day.